Less than 48 hours to go until the start of the new Premier League season. We're going to have a quick look ahead now over the next 20 minutes or so. Let's start by taking a look at the fixtures for the opening weekend. There's 5 games on Saturday, starting with Newcastle's trip to Aston Villa. Newly promoted Sunderland against West Ham is one of 3 3:00 kickoffs before Manchester City go to Wolves. Manchester United against Arsenal, part of a Sunday triple with Everton heading to Elland Road on Monday night. Before all of that, the opening game sees champions Liverpool taking on Bournemouth on Friday night. Jeremy Frimpong is one of the new additions at Anfield, and today he's been speaking to Betty Glover.
Liverpool are kicking the season off at Anfield on a Friday night. What are your expectations of that?
Yeah, it's my first Premier League game, you know, so for sure I want to win. Obviously after the loss against Crystal Palace, so we want to make it good for the fans for sure.
What's Arne Slot sort of said he wants to see from you guys this season? What are the expectations?
He just wants to see consistency, hard-working team. Obviously, champions last season, so I think he wants to see champions again.
And finally, what do you see the future for you looking like in this Liverpool shirt?
I want to win everything. I want to win the FA Cup, the Prem, Champions League, whatever competition we're in. So hopefully the future's looking bright.
Well, he's ambitious and confident. Frimpong, one of several additions, potentially more to come. Milos Kerkez has been brought in on the other side of the defence. Further forward, there's been the big money arrivals of Hugo Ekitike and Florian Wirtz. Danny, the first incarnation of Arne Slot's Liverpool was very much a rejigging of Jurgen Klopp's squad. Does this one look like an Arne Slot squad?
Well, it's exciting, that's for sure. I think fans love to see new talent. Some of it had to be done because of, obviously, Trent leaving. They had to replace him. Then you think of Diaz not signing his new deal. You've got to cash in on him and bring in... But they've lost players, obviously, the devastation of losing Jota. Nunez has gone. So they've let 3 attackers go off that 5 attack of last season, if you like, and only brought 2 in. So you'd still probably want a couple more. But I think there's lots to be excited about. I think he's got an abundance of talent in midfield. It's positive. You've won the league. You've brought in new young signings who want to do well. You can see they've got that expressive skill and creativity in them, even from the game at the weekend. Watching Wirtz and Ekitike link up was beautiful. The 2 fullbacks are flying machines. I'm excited. Liverpool fans are excited. But the one little bit I'd say is when you bring in 4, 5, 6, by the time the window shut, new players, I'm not sure they can all hit the ground running. There might be some bumps in the road. It can't all be smooth all the time, as it was last year. There's got to be some bedding in time for these young lads, so we'll wait and see. But, of course, it's exciting.
And especially because they're big money signings who want to come in and have that support of the team behind them. And there might yet, as we've alluded to, be another one to come in the shape of Alexander Isak. How does he fit into that Liverpool forward line?
Good players fit in. And I think with Isak, I hope he stays in Newcastle, to be honest. But no, I think with Isak, he's shown what a top player he is. And if he goes to Liverpool, I already have Liverpool favourites to win the title this year. But if Isak comes in, then I think they're going to be unstoppable. The quality they've got, as Danny's just alluded on. And I think a big thing was replacing Trent, because a lot of chances created, a lot of goals came from that side. So I think Frimpong has got the attributes to go and fill that. So, yeah, I think Liverpool are looking strong.
Ekitike got off to an absolute flyer at the weekend, Jules. What can he bring to Liverpool?
He's a very talented kid, there's no doubt. His role might change if Isak signs, because he could play more on the left-hand side, for example. But if there's no Isak, he will be the main focus, the main focal point too. He can link a play, as we said, with Wirtz. Already you could see the understanding in that Community Shield. He's very good technically for such a big lad. And yeah, he's a bit lanky and skinny. He needs to beef up a bit, I think, for the Premier League and the physicality. But technically, in his awareness, the way he reads the game, he's a wonderful talent. Things didn't work out for him in Paris because he was probably a move too young and in a dressing room full of egos. And when you are in competition with Messi, Neymar and Mbappe, you're going to struggle. But I think he learned a lot from that, and he's a much more mature player now than he was when he went to Paris.
Danny, you struck a a note of caution on Liverpool in terms of integrating all those new signings that they brought in is another one, the fact that they haven't yet managed to add to their defence, namely a central defender and possibly Mark Gahey.
Yeah, I think that would be a brilliant signing because he's very established, as we know, in the Premier League. He's quick, he's an international player, he's also the captain, he's got leadership qualities. With the Konate situation being how it is, and he looks like he's going to run out his last year unless there's a big change of heart, I think Liverpool have to get someone in, even if that doesn't work out, especially as Kwanzaa's gone, Gomez with his injury record. I can see that getting done. And if it does get done on a lesser amount because of the 1 year left on Gay's contract, I think that would be a steal at 34, 35, what they're talking about, £1 million.
It's going to be a lot more if it is Isak coming to Anfield. Wayne, what's your thoughts on the Newcastle situation, the Newcastle perspective of this, and how hard they're fighting to keep him and how hard he's fighting to be released from the club?
I think it's a huge blow for Newcastle, I think, because Newcastle over the last few years, I think they're doing everything right. They're not going beyond the PSR rules and they're trying to do everything within the rules. But for Isak to leave, if that happens, I think it's a massive setback, I think, because they're trying to build a squad who's ready to compete for the Premier League and obviously being in Champions League as well. And players will look at that. If Isak goes, players will look at that and say, well, if the best players are leaving, is that somewhere where I want to go? So I think Newcastle will do everything to try and keep him. But on the other hand, you know, it might free up a bit of money to them, help them bring more players into the squad to make them a stronger squad. So, but I'm sure they will do everything to try and keep him.
Yeah, it's another one to keep our eye on as the transfer window continues. Let's have a look at what the rest of last season's top 5 have been up to over the summer, starting with last season's runners-up Arsenal. They've spent the best part of 200 million so far, headlined, of course, by the addition of striker Victor Gyökeres from Sporting. And there are also various acquirements for Arsenal across the course of the summer. When you look at the players that Arsenal have managed to bring in, yes, Gyökeres has headlined it, but there's also depth in terms of that, and they've added strength elsewhere on the pitch, Wayne.
Yeah, they have, and I think Arsenal have made some really good signings there. I think obviously everyone's been crying out for the number 9, all the Arsenal fans, and is that going to help them win the Premier League? But I think what he's done with the squad, he's made them solid. He's got good players for different positions when they need to change the team. So I think they've been really, really clever with the signs they've made, and it's given them opportunity to then go and try and challenge to win the Premier League once again and try and finish the season as champions. Well, they will not, I'm not sure, but I think it's really good signings.
I just wonder if you think, Danny, that maybe the signing of the midfielder Zubimendi is a little more important than the signing of the striker Gyökeres.
Equally as important, because I think Thomas Partey was a huge player for them last season. I also think, because Jorginho's gone, bringing in Norgard was a clever bit of business. I'm a big fan of Norgard. He's a really clever footballer, does his defensive work, and I know it was a bit underwhelming for some of the Arsenal fans. When you lose 2 central midfielders and bring in 2 of that quality, that's really important for the depth. I think they'll be there or thereabouts again. They're a good side.
I agree.
Jules, the big question about Arsenal this season is, do they need to win a trophy? Do they need to take the next step to win the Premier League? And that's not just to keep the fans happy, but it's to keep people happy within the club. What is the expectation within Arsenal? Yes, to be challenging, but is there an expectation or a demand to win it?
Expectations more than a demand, I think, from everybody, from the ownership to Mikel Arteta himself, the dressing room. I think that culture of every detail counts to go and win this, and you to know that obviously is important, but until you win it, you have to chase it. So they will be there again, I agree. They've improved in the Champions League from quarter-final to semi-finalist, and they pushed PSG quite close in those 2 games last season. So there's improvement in the squad, but the pressure is high on Arteta because he's been backed again financially. You mentioned the 200 million spent. There was a lot of money spent last summer too on Havertz and Rice, for example. So this time they'll have to show for it.
Manchester City will be hoping for improvement this season as well. One of the players who's gone out, though, is Jack Grealish. Wayne, he's going to be wearing your number 18 shirt at Everton. He said he wanted to wear it because it's your shirt, because it was Paul Gascoigne's shirt, and that you discussed this over a roast dinner.
Yeah, it was... no, listen, Jack's a fantastic player, and we did speak about it, and in tongue-in-cheek, really, in terms of the number 18 shirt.
Just as you were putting the roasties in.
Unfortunately, Phil Neville won as well, so...
Nev's an Everton legend.
But for Jack, I think it's a great opportunity. And obviously, it was a massive football club and great fan base. And I think for Jack to go in there and go and be one of the main players, it's an opportunity for him to go and shine, get Everton back up the table where they need to be and obviously try and put himself in Thomas Tuchel's plans again.
Is this one of those deals that works for everyone? It works for Manchester City, it works for Jack Grealish, it works for Everton?
Absolutely. He looks super fit. He's supposed to be really excited about the opportunity. He's a terrific player. He's brave, he gets on the ball, the fans will love him. The other the great thing about being at Everton for him is that he's not going to be coming up against packed defences every week. Teams will go after Everton, because they're not as good as City, of course, which is going to give him space. Now, we've still got to get him the ball, but I think as long as Moisey plays him more centrally, where he's involved all the time, we'll see the best. If he stays fit, he'll be Everton's best player.
What about Chelsea? It feels as though their whole project has been planning for the future.
Yeah.
But has the future arrived yet for Chelsea?
That's the thing. If they play like they did in the final against PSG in the Club World Cup, I think they will be there. I think the future looks bright. The problem is we haven't seen them enough playing like that last season, certainly in the Premier League. So they will have to step up. I think João Pedro is a very smart signing. So is the Lab. Gittens on that left wing, we'll have to see. They will add more young players again. Defensively, the loss of Colwill with that ACL is a huge blow. So let's see what they do there. And again, in terms of balance and structure, I'm not sure. They're certainly not at the level of the three that we mentioned, City, Liverpool and Arsenal already, but they're probably the best of the rest. And if they have that consistency and Palmer shines again with João Pedro, they can probably push the other three quite a lot, but I don't think they're at that level yet.
As we continue our whistle-stop tour of the Premier League, as Wayne's here, it would be remiss of us not to talk about one of the other big spenders this summer, which is, of course, Manchester United. They have significantly bolstered their forward line. The additions of Bryan Mbeumo, Matheus Cunha, followed last week by the arrival of Benjamin Šeško from Leipzig. So, Wayne, what do you make of this new-look forward line for Manchester United? Are you expecting plenty of goals from them? Because that's been the problem they've needed to address.
Yeah, you'd hope so. I think it's something which was very, very much needed. I think it's great that they've identified the players they've wanted quite early and obviously got Cunha in and Bueno in. And then I think getting Šeško is a really important sign. I think as a target man, a number 9, he's quick, he can use both feet, he's good in the air. I think that's a very important time for Manchester United. I still would like to see them sign go and get a solid midfield player who's going to, help control games for them, but also help build up play. And yeah, but I still like one more. I think Bruno, I'd like to see him push forward, and that allows Bruno to go forward and play forward more. So I think it's been good signings, but I still would like to see 1 or 2 more. The
only thing I'd say with it, and we were talking about it earlier, I think they're really good signings as well, and United will be better. But if he persists with that formation, then Bruno, because they're the front three, if you like, and then you're going to play Bruno as one of the two, which isn't his best position, because he doesn't want to do all the defensive work. It's not. He's a creator. He's a match winner. He's one of the best creators in the Premier League.
But then he scored a lot of goals and created a lot of goals from that position last season.
I think against the best teams, would you have
I think it's the other side of the game where defensively where it could get found out.
Well, Mbeumo and Cunha are players who have Premier League experience and have proved themselves in the Premier League. In Šeško, they've bought a player with potential. That's the word we keep hearing about him. But how close is he to delivering on that, Jules?
That's the big question. And again, this is the third number 9 in three summers, right? You had Højlund and Zirkzee and now another one. And in terms of stability, this is not good because you got it wrong twice already. This one has to work. Really, he's great. He's young. He's never scored more than 13 league goals a season, though, which I think will be a bit of a worry. He's not this goal-scoring machine that Gyökeres or be in Portugal has been, for example. So we'll have to see, but he will bring a lot of the things that Ruben Amorim needs from a number 9 and that focal point again for Bruno and Mbeumo and Cunha to play off him, the 2 wing-backs as well. But he needs to score goals, more than 13 a season in the league.
We'll be getting your predictions very shortly. I know you're looking forward to it. But let's have a look at the newly promoted clubs first. Earlier today, Leeds United captain Ethan Ampadu spoke to Liam McDevitt.
In recent years, the Premier League's not been kind to teams that have come up. How quickly have you had to switch your mentality from enjoying everything you achieve, but now a big task for Leeds United to stay in the Premier League?
Definitely, first day back in pre-season, that's when the mentality has shifted for everyone. We understand the last couple of years it has been difficult and it's been shown to be difficult, but not just us, I think the other two teams in Burnley and Sunderland, we're not just going to like roll over and accept that might be the norm. There's 3 teams who want to try and change that, but for us, we just focus on ourselves, and we want to be sat here next year to be able to play in the Premier League again. So we know it's going to be a hard challenge, but we're ready to fight and dig in every day to achieve that.
It has been tough for the promoted clubs in the last couple of seasons. All 6 of them have been relegated without really coming close to staying up. Leeds, Burnley and Sunderland are showing their ambition to change that trend, with spending by the promoting trio passing the £300 million mark for the first time. So they're trying to bring in the players who can make the difference, who can make them stay in the Premier League this season. Wayne, first of all, your thoughts on how difficult that transition is and why they found it so difficult, particularly over the last couple of years.
I think there's just a huge gap between the Championship and the Premier League. And, you know, when teams get promoted to the Premier League, the teams who have been in the league for a long time, they're constantly getting more money, they're spending more money, they're spending more wages on obviously the salaries higher, they're buying better players, and then the gap is just getting bigger and bigger. So for teams to come up, it's whether they want to, you know, take that risk and spend a huge amount of money. I think Nottingham Forest done it and spent a lot, just about stayed up, and then that benefited them for the second season. So I think it's going to be really tough for them, for the three of them.
It is going to be really tough, but in the interests of not just providing doom and gloom, which of them have got the best chance, or which one of them, or more maybe, have got the best chance of staying up?
Well, I hope all of them give it a good go. I've got a soft spot for Leeds. I'd like to see them. Could have got a bit more Premier League experience than the other two, but Sunderland have spent a fortune on lots of different players, so they could be a surprise package. So if I was to say one at the moment, I'd probably go Sunderland.
Could well happen.
Unknown.
Well, let's see if you've put your money where your mouth is as we get to the predictions now. But Wayne, you're going to go first with your predictions. So let's take a look at what you've gone for this season. You've gone for Liverpool to win the Premier League again this season. You mentioned that earlier on. Arsenal second, again. Manchester City in third, but you've got Manchester United creeping in behind Chelsea into the top 5. Champions League football for Man United next season.
Yeah, no, as I said, I still think they need 1 or 2 more signings, but I think Amaron, I can see what he's doing. I think it's looking better for Manchester United, and I think they will sneak into the top 5. So, yeah, I hope they do, and you never know, they might.
Where did you play again in your career?
Oh, yeah.
But I also noted that a young player is a Liverpool player as well, in Friong.
And he had Liverpool top.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Danny, what have you gone for?
I can't remember. Come on, please bring it up on the screen.
Well,
here we go.
You could have started with the obvious one, which is
top four's the
yeah.
same, but I do think it'll be a much closer race. I've gone for Villa just because I'm just such a big fan of the manager, and he's got them so well organised. I think the most important signing for me is Wirtz, if Liverpool want to carry on and win the league again, because he's just makes it all tick. He's got to hit the ground running. Golden Boot, if Haaland stays fit, he's a goal a game. I think it's impossible to go against him. Max Dowman, another young lad who's not even 16 yet, but he looks a superstar, unbelievable. And I've gone highest promoted team as Sunderland, just to please our producer, Jamie. No, I'm joking. They've spent so much money on so many different players. Sometimes when you come into it, you start playing games and the other teams don't know who everyone is. You can shock people.
Jules, what have you gone for?
So, different winner for me, Arsenal. I think this could be the year. I like the signings that we saw, Gyökeres and Zubimendi especially. And then I've got Spurs in 5th because from what we saw today in the first half, I believe in what Thomas Frank could do there. Wirtz, incredible talent. Haaland, like Danny, about Golden Boots. Zubimendi 1 to watch because I think in that control in midfield for Arsenal will be great. And Sunderland also because they are a French manager, so I have to back them up.
I tell you what, you are nothing if not predictable, Jules.
Of course.
That's about right in terms of our season's predictions. But there have never been more ways to keep across the latest from the Premier League on BBC Sport. You can follow all the latest transfer news along with a whole host of preview content on the BBC Sport website and app. Football Focus returns from 12 o'clock on Saturday on BBC One and iPlayer. It's followed by Final Score from 2:45 on the iPlayer. And you can see the best of the action from the opening weekend on Match of the Day. It's on at 10:20 on Saturday, 10:30 on Sunday. And new for this season, highlights of every Premier League game will be available on the iPlayer from 8 o'clock at the weekend or half an hour after the final whistle for the evening games. And there's more live commentaries than ever before this season on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, along with the Football Daily podcast. Thank you very much to Wayne and to Danny and to Jules. We will be holding you to all of those predictions come the end of the season. And remember, you can watch every highlight with us throughout the season here on Match of the Day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.